Good morning. I'm Gianni the Greek, coming to you live straight from Las Vegas. It's Tuesday, July 2nd. As we approach the 4th of July holiday weekend, it's always a good time out here in Vegas. It's that last holiday before it starts to slow down, because July and August are really slow months here in Vegas. Not many come to the desert in the summer, especially August. That's when you'll get the cheapest room rates, and you'll see the least amount of tourists until Labor Day. Like, Labor Day is huge, and that also launches the football season, and that's a great time to be here. Great time to be here. But this is the last pretty much big weekend until the fall for Las Vegas. So if you are in town, enjoy it. And of course, like always, be cautious. Now, with that said, welcome to Bet with Ace. If this is your first time joining us, I'm going to keep it quick and simple. This is what I do. I go over the blueprint, which has allowed me to turn plus EV information into profit, long-term profit. And I also share a handful of premium plays straight off my client card. And finally, I answer any questions and comments, whether positive or negative, that have been posted the day prior. And again, my reason for this is simple. 99.5% of all bettors, anyone that's ever placed a sports bet, 99.5% of them are down money. I've proven over the last decade, by winning all but 1 year, that I'm in that 0.5%. It's not me saying I'm in it. It's documentation that proofs I'm in it. Because anybody could say they're a plus EV sports bettor, they're a winning sports bettor, but there's only one way to prove it, and that's just lay the numbers out there. My opinion should mean absolutely zero when it comes to that topic. The only thing that should matter is, Ace, what are your results? Tell me what you're up this year. Tell me how you did last year. And more importantly, tell me how you did over the last 3, 5, and since you launched. If you're a professional sports bettor who's made his money betting sports, that should be at your fingertips, just like it's at my fingertips. I could answer that question every single day for you, every single day. And I'm willing to do it because I do this for real. That's what I do. And I'm not smarter than anyone else. I'm not a sharper sports bettor than anyone has the ability to be. I just have done this for a very long time, have had the pleasure to work with the sharpest and most profitable betting syndicates over those decades. And that network allows me to use that information so that not only do I profit, but anyone who partners with me long-term also profits. And that's just documented proof. That's not opinion. That's been shown by the fact I'm #1 profit leader at Wager Talk since the site launched, even though it was already up and running 2 years before I ever joined. I increased capital by 80% just in 2023. And I've turned a profit 8 of the last 9 years, documented with every single day, every single pick, with the VIG factored in. That's it. Again, this isn't an infomercial, but you deserve to know whether you're listening to plus EV or negative EV information. You should disagree with plenty of it, because I will not be 100%, and I will have losing bets, losing days, losing weeks, losing months, and yes, losing years, since I plan on doing this for my entire life. And I've been doing it already for 30 plus years. Yeah, there will be losing years. Prepare yourself for that. It's one of the few professions on the planet that you actually can work 12 full months, 7 days a week, and end up losing money. Now, a lot of people just aren't built for that. In fact, I would think the majority of the population isn't built for that. So this isn't for everybody. That's why I think the majority of you watching this today should probably only sports bet for entertainment. Meaning that money that you would waste at a movie or going out with your girl to have a nicer dinner, maybe have a cheaper dinner and have a little extra money, or that money you're going to go spend to shoot pool, whatever it is that your hobby is, spend that on some sports bets. And, you know, at least with sports betting, you won't get the return of like enjoying 3 hours of shooting pool or a movie, but you'll have the possibility of a return on your capital where you'll win some of those times. And it'll be a great feeling. And plus, if you watch the games, then you do have that entertainment aspect as well. And most should do it like that and understand that they will be in the 99.5% that loses money long term, and that's okay. They're all forms of entertainment cost us money long term. There's nothing wrong with that. I like clothes. I spend a lot of money on clothing, and a lot of it goes out of style, and I end up, you know, giving it away to charities. And it's not like I get a return on investment on it. It's just keep buying new ones, and your size changes and all that. But it's something I like to do, and I know I'm going to waste that money doing it. Oh, if you like just having some action and gambling, do that too. But if you're going to use the sports betting market as an investment vehicle, then you need to treat it like a business so that it pays like a business. You can't half-ass it at all. You can't have nonsense getting in the way. And you can't approach it with the mindset like if you listen to yesterday's when I answered comments, questions, and stuff like that, when I touched on the two comments which were bashing, let's just say, I don't see any replies from them today. No one brought receipts. The gentleman that talked shit about how this isn't 1970 and getting CLV doesn't matter wasn't able to prove that to us. He doesn't show the math that CLV doesn't matter, where I can show the math where exactly what my edge is based on the CLV. Did you beat the implied win probability by 4%, 8%, 12%? That could all be quantified where you know your exact edge, just like in blackjack. If I have a true +3, I know exactly what my edge is over the house. It's the same with sports. You just with CLV, you could determine that. Like there's other ways as well. But again, if you come in with the predetermined pre-misconceptions of nonsense, then I can't help you. But if you come in understanding that there is a 0.5% of bettors that do win, those bettors need to get down because you know when you win, that becomes the problem. Just go to Greek_gambler. Look at my video that's tagged. That's up there, pinned. You will see the blackjack video and what happens to you when you have an advantage. When you are confirmed as +EV, that's what happens to you. You get tossed, and you have more problems getting money down. That's just the truth. So my goal is for you guys to be able to use that information that I have access to because I get those guys down. That's my job. Again, I don't brag that this is my work, my picks. Sure, a lot of them are. Sure, I confirm and agree or I pass for my subscribers. So yeah, I use a lot of my experience and knowledge to narrow down the moves, or else there'd be way too many of them because I move for so many different groups. But anything I pass along is going to be +EV. And my goal is to win year after year, and that's it. And the way I've been able to do it is by managing my risk correctly, by keeping my risk of ruin to as low as possible. I keep it to 20%. I've explained that over and over. You can watch yesterday's video. You can watch last week's video. I talk about risk of ruin over and over and over again. How when you have the edge, you determine what you want your risk of ruin to be. Do I want to double my bankroll 99 out of 100 times and lose it 1 out of 100? Well, I need 1,000 units. Do I want to double it 80 out of 100 times and lose it 20 out of 100 times? Well, I need 400 units. How many units do I need if I'm +EV to have this risk of ruin? And just bet size 1x to 5x. That's it. I could back that up. I have 9 years of documented results. There's math behind law of big numbers. There's statistical significance. There's standard deviation. There's receipts that we can look at to confirm +EV. But having that isn't enough. You need part 2 of the puzzle, and that's managing risk correctly. And obviously, since I've gone through a losing streak, it's become evident that so many that have tried to time me aren't managing risk correctly. And even some of my long-term subscribers aren't managing risk correctly. Fortunately, there's a lot that do. And that's why we meet each and every week in the steam room and we go over everything and our plans moving forward. So yesterday was about a split. We won the tennis, lost the baseball. Oh, we're getting some action. Let me see. Right. No, that's not what it was. Not a play. Right. So let's go. Yeah. Lost the Washington bet. And then, like I said, the tennis with Otto Vertinen. And I think there was another one in there. Anyway, again, we know over the last 7 days, we're obviously down about 50 units. We're at 0.25 of that. So that's about what, 13, 13%. Again, we don't adjust until we're up or minus 50%. That's it. And if you look at for the year, we're well below that. And more importantly, when I look at for the last 365, which matters most, because if you're not profitable over statistically significant sample size, then you need to take a second look. And that's how I always grade that I on the right track. The last 365, if you started with me 365 ago, are you positive? Because I've made 3,000 plus bets, and that's statistical significance. If I haven't produced profit, I need to figure out what the problem is, or else you need to take a step back and reevaluate whether you should even be accepting my information as being plus EV. That's just the truth. But of course I am obviously still around there. Same ROI, little units to over that 100, which matters most. And now over 3,400 bets, climbing near 35. Again, December 31st will roll around. And when the lights go on, a lot will scatter. Some will celebrate. I got a lot of action today in Major League Baseball, in fact. So let me get to that so I could answer some of these questions and get going. Let's go. All right. What plays am I going to use? Okay. What am I going to give you? Here we go. The fun part. All right. We are going to go game 9-10. Colorado, Milwaukee under 11.5, minus 105, or under 11. We'll even go under 11 at even money, under 11 even money, or plus, or under 11.5. Obviously, if you get the 11.5, I'm seeing even minus 112 at DraftKings. So yeah, under 11.5. If you agree with me, if you disagree, then look for the 11 and go over. So I'll give you the under. That was a 3% play. And then, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to you guys. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you the two biggest bets I have today. Let me confirm that. Maybe just give you one of them. I don't have too much yet. All right, we're going to go 904, Washington. Yep, Washington run line once again. Up to minus 130, 4% play there, 4% play there. And obviously, you know where I am on the total there. You know that as well. I'm going to give you a prop. Bobby Miller, Dodgers. Over 1.5 earned runs, over 1.5 earned runs. Play that up to minus 150, 6 out of 10 times your plus EV. So Bobby Miller, Dodgers, I'm going to give that out right now, actually. And it's one of those that isn't as readily available, which is why I'm only going to make it a 2% play. So 0.50, a 0.5%. I'm fair with my subscribers. I want their bets, their results to reflect mine. And so I can't make this a 5% play, even if it was extremely strong. Even though I see 140s, I'm going to give it out at 150, just so they know that's as good high as they could go. Bobby Miller, LA Dodgers, over 1.5, minus 150, earned runs. There we go. There we go. All right. So we got 2 baseball premiums, a 4%, a 3%, and now a 2% prop as well. I don't have any do I have any tennis left? Let me see. Is there any tennis that hasn't gone off? Try to hook you guys up for the support. Make sure, please, go down there, smash that like button, and give a comment, give a question, give some support. And most of all, if you can share it, that would be the best. That would be the best. All right, we're going to dive right in. We will dive right in. All right, my man Mark Kessler, 31.29, crushing it as always. This year's Wimbledon odds are brutal, no doubt. Any thoughts on wagers we can get some value without the house taking half? Yeah, that's the problem. The bigger sports betting becomes mainstream, the worse odds sports books can offer, the higher hold they can offer, because the recreational bettor doesn't care. They're not looking at what the spread is, the split. They don't care. They're betting teams, not numbers. So, as far as finding some value without the house taking half, yeah, it's hard to do today, man. That was pretty funny. We don't have any futures so far. It's just been betting matchups. Maybe as the tournament progresses, we'll catch a future we could take advantage of. But now it's been just matchups and mostly chalk. In fact, here's what I'm going to look at. The last few, and they move so quickly, man. You want to hear something crazy? Here's the last tennis that we bet, okay? I bet it last night. It was Denis Shapovalov, over Daniel Altmaier, Maltimaire. So we're fading Altmaier. We're taking Denis Shapovalov, Shapovalov. Okay. Now I got that. I bet that at minus 400. They wanted 385. My guy had 400. I was going to take that because the implied win probability was nothing. Was no difference, is what I'm saying. Like the difference between if you go from minus 135 to a minus 150, yeah, it's significant. But if you go from a minus 385 to a minus 400, it's not even, the implied win probability is like a 0.5% difference. You're going from 79.5 to implied win to 80% implied win. So if they have an edge, it's a lot greater than 0.5%. So I know instantly, because I was a runner for so long, I'm going to lay that 400 as soon as I see it. I wasn't going to wait. Good thing for that, because guess what? When I looked again, like a minute later, it was minus 500. So I was like, wait, I can't give that to subscribers. I looked again, 600. So yeah, I get it, man. It's so hard. It's hard to get value, especially on those splits when everybody's betting that, because there's what else is there to bet on other than baseball? What else is there really to bet on right now? So something like Wimbledon is getting a lot of attention, which usually it wouldn't, a lot of action. So they could have terrible splits, and then move so significantly as soon as we bet. And that's why it's hard, man. It's hard. I give premiums where I can in tennis, but sometimes that's what I run into. Carl R 2002. The new MLB extra inning rules from a year ago affect lines and over under. Seems like once a game goes to that extra, the over is inevitable. We have been burned a lot in the last month in extras. Yeah, it looks it that way, but the sample size is too small to draw any conclusions. Now, when the season's over, we'll have a much better idea going forward. But right now, what we'd be doing is really we'd be guessing. And again, we're doing that ultimately, but knowing that all we have to do is wait, and we will have a sample size which lets us know. I think that's the safer play. But I've been noticing that a lot. That once it gets there, your under's dead. Your under's dead. Now, will that play out over the next? Because we're not even at the All-Star break. We're just about at the All-Star break. We're just about at the half. Now, will that change over the next half? And not will it change because the teams play differently, but will the market evolve with maybe a little higher totals because of it? That's what we need to see. That's what we got to get to see. What was the average opening line, closing line? And then what is the opening and closing line? Have those averages changed between the first half of the season, second half of the season? And based on those changes in averages, has that affected the over-under, the amount of games that go over or under because of the extra innings? Love your thinking on those lines. That's exactly what you need to be doing as a handicapper. If you're handicapping your own stuff too, or even handicapping the stuff that I send, which I say is the easiest thing to do. I always tell my guys that are good cappers, that are subscribers, I tell them, dude, do what I do. Your job should be just like mine. I wait for the bot to send me plays from the betting syndicates. I bet it for them, and then I have my own handicap to see if I'm going to bet more for myself and use it as a play. You guys could do the exact same. When I send out a bet, you handicap and either confirm or pass or let it go. I love it. I love it. And obviously, my man Carl, you're on that path. That's what you're doing. You're capping these. So I think you keep monitoring it. If you've already set up a spreadsheet to keep tally, that would even be better. But I'm sure there's going to be plenty of quants at the break that are going to be sharing that data with us for sure. So you don't need to be proprietary when it comes to that, because it'll be readily available. All right. YouTuberize. All right. Hi, Gianni. My name's Doug. My man, Doug. Welcome to the party, brother. I'd love your direction and support to invest in a 5-year plan other than sports betting when I have my funds in order. Any way to PM you to relay my personal thoughts? Yeah, we're trying to set up something where I can talk with people like on a phone call and stuff like that, because I do think that would be a one-on-one instead of like a one-on-one in a group setting. A one-on-one where we could bounce ideas and questions and answers off each other, like on a call, would be best. So honestly, if you would hit up Wager Talk, also DM them, email them, and just even say that, is there a consultation with Ace? Because we're talking about that. They'll see that they'll set something up with that. Here's the truth, bro. Yeah, there is a 5-year plan, and especially right now, because if you've been following me, then you know what I think's coming in 2029, 2030. And I've been preparing my 5-year plan. Right now, I think the very best thing you can do, just without even picking individual stocks or anything like that, because I do think we're going to get a crash. So like if I bumped into a score tomorrow of let's say $1 million, okay, say I got $1 million fell on my lap tomorrow, I would not invest right now in the stock market. I would wait for a correction, because you see that it's at an all-time high. I mean, there's so many metrics that we can look at that support what I'm saying. So I'd never want to be buying at an all-time high. And since I'm sitting on a mill, I'm in no rush. I could park that mill where I'm getting even 5.5%, 6% in so many different instruments right now, because the interest rate is so high. So I'm in no rush. but I don't need to park it all. I would immediately take about probably 400,000. I would invest 300,000 in gold, physical gold, 30% right away, physical gold, not paper gold, physical gold. I would just look for 99.99% gold. I don't want collectible coins. I don't care about anything. I just want it to be pure gold. Bars, even better, because the more weight you buy, the cheaper the ounce will be. So I would buy 300K of probably gold bars. I would buy 100K of crypto. I would probably wait for that to drop too. But with that said, if I'm thinking long term, it don't matter when I buy. I'm hoping that 10 years from now, the price isn't what it is today, not 6 months from now. So I really have to get this, but I'm in towards the end. So we got to keep this going. I'm just going to call this call back. And then 10% in crypto with, like I said, 75,000 would go to Bitcoin, 25,000 to Ethereum. That leaves me 600,000. I take the other 10,000 and I would invest in art. I would break it up in those kind of commodities, maybe 40%, 50% in art, and the other 50% I would buy in some things like I've talked about before, right? What did we talk about? We talked about wheat. We talked about corn. We talked about lithium. We talked about uranium. Those commodities that when shit goes bad, shoot up in price. And I'll just sit on them. Just sit on them. It's always good to have a little bit of that. A little bit. It's good to have. And then I would keep cash. I would keep the rest in cash, sitting in an interest-bearing account. Why? Because we're already seeing the cracks in the real estate market. So as soon as the real estate market officially breaks, I would scoop in and buy some rental properties. Definitely buy some rental properties. Put in some down payments, 20% down payments, 25% down payments, and find some cash flow positive income properties. And the rest, again, that would be about 600,000. So I would put about 400,000 in those, 300,000 to 400,000 in real estate, and the rest in the stock market. Probably leave about 5% in cash. But that would be deploying my cash at that point, because we were saying when the stock market corrects. And I think over the next 6 months after the election, when we get into a recession, I think it'll start correcting. And then you just ride that up. I'd sell everything right about 2028, except for the physical gold, probably, and some of the crypto. And weather that storm, man. Wait for markets to crash. Wait for everything to crash. And hope after 2030, it does what we're expected. And blue skies ahead for anyone that survives it. That's just a tentative in 3 minutes. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. You should sit with a professional who's got a fiduciary obligation to you. I'm just spitballing here. And I would be a lot more detailed. Actually, I would want to know exactly the amounts you're looking to invest and your risk tolerance, your timetable, what you're looking to do out of it, whether we're looking at capital gains later, whether we're going to look at an IRA. There's just so many ways, especially if you're young, if you're under 40. There's so many things you should be doing right now to set yourself up. All right, I follow the plan, 1.25, 1%, and I have a bank around 3,000. Sometimes I find a bet I just can't let slip away. For example, if I had boosted it plus 250 to win in round 1 or 2. In this case, I will use money, not my betting counts, to place a bigger bet like 100 or more. And if I win, I put the winnings into my betting bankroll. Is this safe betting? Well, as far as safe betting, you feel like you're gambling a little more, so probably not. But you're not dipping it into your bankroll. You're treating your business like a business. And you're having a little fun on the side because you're seeing even opportunity. Like you said, you got to boost the odds. So let me take a little shot on that. Like I tell you, I even do that with throwing in a parlay when I remember and things like that. But it's either such a small percentage, almost negligible of account, or it's other pocket money like you just touched on. Stuff that I put in my pocket that, we're going to go to spend at dinner and drinks. And no, I didn't spend it all. I got 400 extra set in my pocket. Let me throw that on a parlay. So yeah, no, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that boxing god. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, my man, because you're looking to build your bankroll, that part of the puzzle. You're not trying to increase your risk of ruin, which I love. You're like, in fact, I'm not doing that. I'm not even messing with this bankroll in this. I'm just doing it outside of my business. Love that. You got it. You got it. Just keep rinse and repeat, boxer. Rinse and repeat, and give yourself time. That's what I didn't do. If I would have given myself time, by the time I was 40, I'd have what I have now. Easily. If not well before that, 37, 38. If I would have employed patience at 30 years old, when I finally, boom, the light switch came on, I took accountability for my actions. I just didn't have the proper bankroll. So therefore I was over betting my edge and gambling because I didn't have the patience. If I would have had the patience to figure, dude, in 7 to 10 years, your life is set forever. That sounds like a long time, but you know what? After that, how long forever is? Yeah, it would have been great. So just employ patience, bro. R. Martinez, 7186, my man. All right. Please discuss years, times you were on a bad streak and your mentality behind getting through it. Thank you. And fuck the haters. Don't waste time on those losers. Thank you. I'm not the thing that I want to explain, Mark, sir, and everyone. I don't, it's when I answer the haters, it isn't, I don't feel like I'm defending myself from a bash. I feel like we need to explain this because there may be others, viewers, who think along the same lines. So if I'm certain that what they're saying is misinformation and misconceptions, then I want to lay them out there and bring proof to the table so that I could clear it up for anyone else confused. Because again, I told you, I have no fear of being canceled. I don't give a shit if in my steam room it's only one guy that wants to partner with me and win. I honestly do not care. I gave you the whole card yesterday because I didn't sell a package. Like, I'm not pushing fucking packages, dude. I'm not trying to get anything. Only thing I'm looking to sell, honestly, are partnerships, long-term partnerships. That's it. Because it is beneficial to me too. Not just financially. Trust me. And when you're in the steam room, you know, because I talk about those, how I benefit so greatly from these subscribers, which are partners in the long run. So great question. Great question. Here's what I've done. Honestly, I've forced myself to remain robotic. I will not go off my predetermined bet size, no matter how I'm running, based on that bankroll, based on the bankroll I'm working with. Now, I have gone outside of it with other money and had good and bad results, but I make sure that I don't mess with that, because that is guaranteed going to bring me to ruin. So you have to get to that point where your bet size is locked in, and nothing at all will make you change that unless you increase or decrease starting bankroll by 50%. Otherwise, you know what you're betting every freaking play. You already know that. So that, number one, has helped me because it's limited the holes that I've built, that I've gotten into. Meaning, if I would have chased, the holes would have been a lot bigger. I would have lost so much more money than I ultimately did. Like back in the day, that's what would happen. I would have lost my entire bankroll. But because I limit myself already, that's not going to happen. Sure, I'm not happy when I'm losing and I'm pissed having to pay week in, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row when I'm working every single day. So not only did I work for nothing, but I actually lost money working. Like, having that in your mind could make you nuts. So I don't focus on that. It said, like I said, I focus on that. As long as I rinse and repeat, I'm in complete control of whether I beat the sports books or not. Meaning, I know that I have plus EV information. I'm so confident in that. I have zero doubt in that because of the groups I work with. So I know it's all in my power. And I remind myself of that over and over and over again. You are in control. And unless you deviate from the blueprint, you know how this ends. Unless I deviate, I know how this is going to end. If I continue to manage my risk the way the blueprint shows, then I will continue to profit long term like the math shows. And then I zoom out and I look at my results from last year. I look at my results over the last 3 years. I look at the results over the last 5 years. And honestly, that comforts me. That's how I've gotten through the cold streaks now. That's how I've gotten through the current one. Where it looked like I was out of it in 2-3 winning days. And then, they had another bad day. Now it could be the end of it. And this is where the July, where we skyrocket, and I hope it is. I feel extremely confident in what's ahead. But I also know that I'm prepared for whatever's coming. For whatever comes my way, I'm 100% prepared because my bet size is already predetermined. I know my bankroll could handle it and afford it. And I trust that all I need is volume. And with enough baseball, with enough football coming up, and then basketball and all that, we're going to make more than enough bets to be up money. Like, as long as you're doing the 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1%, 1.25, what are we going to be down? 20%, 30% of bankroll? You make that up in a month. It's just don't get down to that where you're down 70, 80%. Because then unless you replenish it, good luck building that back. It's going to take forever. And you never want to bet from a position of weakness, always from a position of strength. Italian DMD, my man. I went to Italy twice. Love it. Great country. Beautiful. Reminds me of a lot like Greece. Same people. Una faccia, una razza, they used to say. Same face, one race. Same people. We're just divided by a little bit of water. Una faccia, una razza. That's it. That's all I heard when I was there. And they said, where you? Like, they want to know where I'm from. I said, Grecia. And they knew that's what they would say right away. Like, oh, you're our people. It was awesome. Great time. Anyway, hey, Ace, how do you determine which plays are 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, and 5%? Gut feeling? Love it. Great question. A little bit of gut, but mostly based on the availability of the line, how much the line has moved from the number the groups I got down for betted at, like how much the implied probability has differed for my subscribers. Remember, I touched on the tennis one earlier where the guys wanted me to get down at 385. Minus 400 was available. Now, if that wasn't going to move as quickly as it did because it's a small market and it was a max bet for 2 different groups, so I knew there was no way I was going to get down for my subscribers, I would have sent that out as a 3% or even a 4% play because they maxed it. It would have been a 4% play, even though I would have sent it out at minus 400 and they got 385 because the implied win probability of minus 385 is, what did I say? 79.5%. And the implied win probability is minus 400 is 80%. So it's just a 0.5% different. We're going to piggyback the exact same amount I'm betting for them. See, that's where I have the benefit that because I move for multiple groups and I already have a deal in place where they let me know how much they want down because they don't bet they don't want the same amounts on every play. So they'll say, okay, I want Washington Nationals plus 1.5 minus 130 up to 3 dimes. So I may get them minus 128 for a dime, minus 129 for a dime, minus 132 for a dime. We average it all together. I got you 3 dimes at minus 130. And then they'll send the other play, which may be the under 9. We want this one for 2 dimes at minus 109. And I'll be like, oh, as I see is 110, I'll eat that 1 cent and I'll get them the whole thing down at 1 bet. And I'll see that's a smaller position than the side. So if I also agree with the side, like I did Washington, I'll make that a 4% play. And let's say I'm not as strong about the under, I may only make that a 3%. So I have the groups as one of my guidelines, what they're betting, based on, I copied this. This isn't me being the genius. I see that they were betting 1x to 5x. So why wouldn't I mimic the same thing? That's what I did, 1x to 5x. And then, like, as for my own stuff, I come up with an implied win probability like in MMA, and I base it on the difference. I make my line minus 300, where it's a 75% win probability, and the sports book brings it out at minus 200, which is 67% break even. I see there's an 8% edge there. 8%, that would probably fall within 3 to 4% play for me. If it's above a 10% implied win probability edge, I'll go to that. That's where I hit my 5% plays. And those are very rare because I don't, for me to overcome the built-in edge and have that kind of edge is extremely rare. So that's a little bit of it. So it is a little bit of mix of gut feeling, but I do also have some metrics that I get to follow, and some, again, bet sizes from those guys that I get to follow. So it's not just, all, gut feeling. Great questions, man. I love the questions that you guys keep coming up with in the comments. It tells me that you guys are not only absorbing all of this, but you're thinking next level, like next step. And that's how you have to always be thinking. All right, I absorbed this, and how do I now take it to the next step, Awesome stuff. Like my man Italian figured out, okay, I'm going to go to 1% to 5%, 1x to 5x. That makes sense to him. How do I determine 1x to 5x? What's a 2x? What's a 4x? Why do you differentiate those? Why not just go 3x across the board on everything? Great fucking question. Great question. And how do you determine that? Great question. Love it. So please smash that like button. Give my man some support. I know it's the slow times of summer, and with only baseball, I know the viewers won't be great. So I've already committed to do this in August. So we will do definitely preseason football and some college football. We'll see then the interest for it, and we'll take it from there. But you guys, definitely, I'm going to give you all of July and all of August every single day. For the next 60 days, I'll be here with you every single day. Love you. God bless. Whether you follow, fade, or ignore, I swear to you, like I said, my only goal is to help make you a more efficient, better, help you, if you are profitable, become even more profitable. And if you do have the ability to win or access to winning information, help you actually produce profit with it. That's my only goal. And share some of the bets that I'm making, that I'm actually backing with my own cash. That's the show, man. That's the show. Everything else is noise. I get it. When I'm losing, nobody's going to be happy. When I'm winning, we're celebrating. There's good, there's bad. We're never going to be 100%. So there's always going to be some bad days in there. But overall, I'm extremely confident. With a big enough sample size, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they could do. We got them by the balls, boys and girls. Have a great one.